And we are at it. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Columbus Cartoon Coalition YouTube. I am today's host, Kelci D. I'm one of the exec members of the Columbus Cartoon Coalition, and I am joined by.
I'm Mel Seeley. I'm one of the members, I guess.
And today we're going to be talking about thumbnails, what they are, how they work, and all that good stuff. Right off the bat, did you have any talking points that you wanted to get out there, like first and foremost about the topic?
Yes, I made a little note while I was at work today. Um, so I guess the first thing I wanted to say about thumbnailing is,
Mm-hmm.
I guess the biggest thing that I've seen people do, mistakes, is maybe taking too much time on them. They're
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be fast. You're supposed to make it's quantity over quality. Like make a lot of them, come up with a
Mm-hmm.
lot of ideas, and
Mm-hmm.
then narrow it down after that. And then
Absolutely.
I just like to focus on value, composition,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and shapes and stuff like that.
Sure. Yeah. Um, for folks who might be confused about what exactly thumbnails are, I like to define them as the really rough versions of a comic page. It's different from like a comic script because a comic script is like the typed up version of it. And the typed up version can be read like a screenplay or like a novelization or however it is that the writer chooses to write the comic. And I'm pretty sure that we've done live streams covering that topic before about how to write comics. So I'm not going to get too deep into that here. But the thumbnails are kind of the step before you actually start drawing the page itself. Thumbnails are a good way to like lay out the page, lay out some ideas, but they're also a really good way to just spitball ideas before you even make the final iterations. Um, it's kind of like a draft of a story. Is that fair to say?
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's fair to
yeah.
say.
And like you were saying, you can use thumbnails to write your story, or you can script it out. And
Mm-hmm.
everyone's kind of different, so
Yeah.
yeah, I
Uh,
agree.
Oh, you were going to say, I'm sorry.
No, that's it. That's it.
Okay. Yeah, for me, it actually varies from project to project. There are some projects that I write up a script and then I draw thumbnails and then the final pages. And then there are some projects that I'm like, nah, I'm not doing a script. I'm just going to go straight to thumbnails and we'll do it that way. um, Fun fact: The Legend of Jamie Roberts, my webcomic, is that I just start directly at thumbnails and then go into final
No,
pages.
really?
Yep.
By the way, y'all should read Jamie Roberts. It's so good. I'm
Oh,
not
thank
super
you.
caught up, but I read a few chapters and I was hooked. So I
Oh,
need to
thank
get back
you.
into it.
Oh, yeah. Well, now's a good time to catch up on it because I take hiatuses between chapters as like a chapter break. And we just finished up chapter 9, so now's a good time to catch up on it before chapter 10 starts.
Ooh, okay.
I know. I don't know how far you're into it, but I feel like hearing chapter 9, I feel like there might have been a part of Mel just now that was like, "Oh no."
I think I might have got to 7. I don't
Oh,
remember.
okay. You're still good. You're still good. I maybe I should pull up a different sample page because I had queued up some samples, but one of them is from chapter 9. So maybe I should.
It's okay. You can spoil it for me.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. If you're cool with that, I'll
I'll
do
read it
that.
soon.
Okay. It's just one page, and I have a different example queued up that is not The Legend of Jamie Roberts. It's a different project entirely, but I wanted to queue up both to kind of show off different ways that you can thumbnail a comic page. So if we are cool, I can go ahead and just bring up that real quick. And okay, there it is. Okay, so this is pretty sure it's working. Yes, it's working. Cool. Okay, so what we have here is from The Legend of Jamie Roberts. This is the thumbnail version of the page. This is straight from my sketchbook. So again, no script. I just go straight to thumbnails and I draw the thumbnails. Like I have an outline of the story and I know the story beats that I want to hit. I know how it's going to end, but the actual like drafting of it is all in thumbnails. And with this page in particular, I actually played around with the page layout significantly compared to the thumbnail version of it. So like I'm going to do a side-by-side comparison here. Cuz like
Oh yeah.
yeah, I went from just straight horizontal layouts to doing 2 verticals and then 2 horizontals. I
I think
felt
the
like
verticals do work better.
yeah, I like the vertical ones better cuz that puts more of an emphasis on Jamie's expression and on the characters' expressions. It also feels like a better use of the page space. I can't place why, but it just feels better to me to have it laid out like this. But the thumbnail was important to get the script down, to get the gist of like what it is that the characters are going to say to each other in this page, the story beat for how long the pauses should be, what those pauses look like, the general gesture. Like Daniel's gesture in panel 3 is still pretty consistent from the thumbnail version to the final iteration, and that sort of thing. But like yeah, the thumbnail version didn't stray too far, but if I am working on a page and I decide, oh, I'm going to change it up and do 2 verticals rather than 2 horizontals, I can do that. Takes a little tweaking in the penciling part, but absolutely doable. And then I have, as another sample, oh, the Thoughtful Dinosaur is actually a horizontal comic. So I'm going to zoom this out a little bit. That top one is the thumbnailed page. And then the image below is the like final art. Now, Thoughtful Dinosaur, I had a script and then I did thumbnails and then I worked on the final page. And I felt like I needed to do that because like the written version of it helped with getting certain story beats down. But then in the thumbnail draft, there was like that twist in the third act that I looked at the original script and I went, nah, I could do it better. So then in the thumbnail stage, I rewrote it and it just flowed a lot better. And that's why I did it that way. Yes.
I like the way that you put the type on the bottom. That way you can kind of move the type around in the final when you want to. And I was just wondering, is that the way you prefer to work, or would you rather like put the type in the thumbnail?
That's interesting because with comic strips, I would qualify this as a comic strip. With comic strips, I actually prefer having the dialogue and the text like under the drawn thumbnail. I actually kind of prefer it that way so that when I do the like final iteration of it, I know where the speech balloons are going to get placed. I haven't done this method with like comic pages. And part of the reason is that I just draw these straight in a 8.5 by 11 sketchbook. I actually have it right here. But I draw my thumbnails directly in my sketchbook, and I could probably like turn it sideways to do my thumbnails for the comic books, but like I just prefer drawing it like I'm drawing the rough version of a comic page, speech balloons included. Now the speech balloons do change their placement and their sizing in the final stage. But with the comic strips, I do prefer this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just my brain be weird.
No, I think it's important to do what works best for you, and um working in the sketchbook I feel like helps me sometimes to just get it out.
Heck yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
And
get it
sometimes
over.
it just depends on like, this is going to sound really woo woo, but I'm going to say it anyway. It depends on what the story is like saying to me, because
Yeah.
some stories like this thoughtful dinosaur was like, write me in a script, then thumbnail me, and then we'll go from there. And the Legend of Jamie Roberts is not that. The Legend of Jamie Roberts is like, just draw me, and I'm like, okay. So it really depends from project to project for me as to how I go about it.
Hmm.
And sometimes I do change my method like halfway through a story. Like, there's another project I'm working on right now, New Punk Signal, that I started it just text. Um, but with the text version, I was like really struggling with picturing what the comic strip would even look like, kind of like how the thumbnails look. Like, I had a hard time kind of picturing that. So I'm thinking for this next arc of New Punk Signal, I'm going to switch over to this like thumbnail storyboarding method and seeing if that resonates better.
Hmm.
Yeah, seeing if that helps improve the flow at all.
Okay. Yeah, I do a lot of scripts myself. Um,
Hmm.
and then it's like I don't know. Once I get to the thumbnail stage, I'm like trying to still figure out how to move it from this to this.
Yeah.
Um, okay. I did find some thumbnails of my
Oh yeah.
comics, so yeah, I can show them to you. I
Sweet.
started on Red All Over 5. I think I showed these the last time though. Um, but I'll show them again, and then maybe I'll draw something.
Hey, well, I mean, show them
uh,
off for the folks who maybe didn't tune in for that stream. So,
oh, that's true. That's true. Okay, how do I do this?
take your time. I do want to ask, because when I do thumbnails, I just do like straight pencil sketches. I don't tend to work with other mediums. What is your preferred way of drawing thumbnails? Do you just pencil them? Do you work with ink? Do you add colors? What's your method?
um, I've done different things. Like the ones that I'm gonna show are digital, but actually I do have ones that are pencil too.
Ooh.
I guess I'm just kind of scrappy in terms of I just do them wherever I am. So if I'm out and about with the sketchbook, that's what I'll.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know I had these. Hold up.
Ooh.
Okay. All right.
Mystery.
All right.
We're queuing it up on the back
I
end, folks.
Okay. Let me figure out how to get my screen share going.
There should be a little tool along the bottom of the screen here. We are using StreamYard. Shout out to StreamYard for being our live stream host and our tech for
Okay.
this. Yeah. There will be, yes, you got it working. Cool. I'll go ahead and add that to the stage.
Yay!
Huzzah!
All right. So this is from which one is this from? Red
Oh,
all
that
over
looks like,
number 3.
yeah, I was about to say, that looks like red all over.
Yep. So I don't know. I like to get like I focus mostly on the expressions, kind of
Hmm.
like you, and like the body language. And some of these are like not even very defined.
Hmm.
Like, can you see my mouse on this? Because I'm like pointing at stuff.
Yes. Yep.
Okay, great,
I
great.
can see, I can see
So
like a
yeah,
little Mickey Mouse hand just kind of waving around.
yeah, my little Mickey Mouse hand. I'm just like rubbing. So yeah, they're like not super defined. I just like put stuff down,
Hmm.
and it kind of changes a little bit once I get to the final cut.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I don't know about you, but when I'm doing
yeah,
thumbnails, I don't really make an effort to like make
yeah,
them
like this one's
proportional at all.
terrible.
Yeah.
um, And then what does my final look like? Is this it? I thought it was going to open up.
Oh, take your time.
Oh, it has opened. So then that's kind of what the final looks like. I really just take my thumbnails, I'll put it on the whole page and just draw over it sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
and just define it from there. Um,
It sounds like you and I work with thumbnails the
and
same
then
way.
so that's like, yeah. So that's
Mm-hmm.
like my sketchbook thumbnails, and then I have, this is my digital thumbnails. I'm working on the fifth one right now,
Ooh.
and I like to put in like where the shadows are going to be,
Mm-hmm.
body shape. Yeah, this is like more of a kind of more drawn out one. Um, and then I don't know what I'm doing with that one yet. I'm still figuring that one out. But yeah, this story is all about the elephant.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's pretty much all I've got.
Yeah, that's fair. It sounds like you and I kind of work with thumbnails the same way, which is we use them to not just get the expressions down, but we also like put them on the canvas
Mhm.
that we're working on, enlarge them to the size that we need them, and then we just draw on top of them. Is that fair to say?
It's so lazy, but it
But
works.
it works. Like it's not lazy, it's efficient. We like
It's efficient.
efficiency with
It is
comics.
efficient. Why
Because that's
start
def-
over again, you know?
yeah, that's definitely how I
And
do it. I
then
just I just like take my thumbnails and I paste them over onto the comic page I'm working on, and then I blow it up to the size that I need to in the live area, and then I draw on top of it. But
oh,
hey,
I
it
was gonna say
works.
one more thing about thumbnails.
Hmm.
If you are doing that, don't like, you got to get the dimensions right.
Yes.
So like, there's been times where I've drawn something, I'm like, ooh, looks good. I blow it up, and then I've got a bunch of space to fill because
Mm,
I did not do the dimensions right. So that's why I
yeah.
work in squares.
Yeah. Well, that was one reason why with that page of Jamie Roberts I turned those panels from a horizontal to a vertical, cuz I was like that's a more efficient use of the
Ah,
space if I made them vertical
yeah.
like that. Cuz I felt like with the horizontal layout it was just a lot of dead space. And I
I
wanted to
also noticed it's
yeah.
just like boom,
Mhm.
boom, boom, boom. And like,
Mhm.
I feel like the vertical cuts the page better.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's just
Yeah, there's also
something to mess
something to be
with.
said about because it is a web comic, and the top half of any page is like the first thing that people see in the web comic form.
Hmm.
Um, and I've definitely seen some webcomic creators make the suggestion of laying out your panels in such a way that like the most important stuff, or maybe not the most important, but like the top half of the page doesn't get cut off. um,
Hmm.
I've seen some webcomic artists make that suggestion. I feel like this was definitely more at play before webtoons introduced the infinite scrolling thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, when it was just like you can only post one page at a time. If it was not like comic strip format, there was that suggestion of like um make sure that the panels don't like bleed down too much
Hmm.
kind of suggestion. Honestly, I don't pay that much heed to it. I just draw the pages. um
Yeah.
Especially with Jamie Roberts, it's like, well, it's going to be both webcomic and in print form, and
Yeah.
it's going to look how it looks in both formats, and people seem to resonate with it. So I don't pay too much attention to that axiom. But again, in the age of webtoons, it's definitely like with that infinite scrolling feature, there's not really that call to be like, no, you have to end your panel before the screen cuts off at the bottom. Like, who cares?
Yeah. I mean, mine's like a square, so like it shows up. That's all
Hmm.
it is, which I kind of like.
Yeah.
I did it originally because I was doing it in college, and Instagram was super new, and I was like, I'm gonna
Yeah.
post it all on Instagram. I mean, it's a bad
Mhm.
idea, but I didn't end up doing that.
Yeah.
But I ended up liking the squares, and you can like do infinite sizes, and
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's a reason why the dinosaur comics were all, like, basically the same size panels. I mean, like, ignoring the fact that it was all the same art, like, every day and only the text changed, like,
yeah.
there's a reason why the layouts were so simple is it's just more economical that way. Yeah, I'm glad you brought up Instagram, though, because Instagram is another outlet to consider posting, comics on for some folks.
Mhm.
Um, I do post validation on Instagram, but I also post it on Webtoon. Um, and those are also interesting, like page layouts, but that's a discussion for a different day. We're talking about thumbnails. um, yeah, with thumbnails, actually with validation, I did a very much like the thoughtful dinosaur method because there was the script that CB sent me to work off of, and then
Mhm.
I would actually just go straight to pencils with validation. But
Ooh.
sometimes there would be some pages that would have like really tricky camera angles called for. And then I would do thumbnail versions and just draw them as like stick figures to
Mhm.
be like, this character will be over here, this character will be over here, dialogue box, but also camera angle and play around with that more.
The camera angles always get me.
Always, yeah. This is why we thumbnail comics is to play around with that sort of
Would
thing.
would it be okay if I did a demo?
Oh, go for it. Yeah, we have time for that.
Okay. um, Here we go
You let me
again.
know once you get your tech set up on your end, and we'll do it live.
All right. I'm
Okay, here we go.
ready. All right. So I've got some squares.
Hmm.
um. All right. What should I draw?
Okay, so let's just do. I know recently we did a stream about 4-panel comics. How about just a simple 4-panel gag of some sort?
Okay. I want to do. Okay. That doesn't look right. Oh, there we go. I tried to get my
Hmm.
brush right and everything. I like to do like a lighter brush and um I don't know. Do you like working it well you've already done um your sketches and your thumbnails on
Uh,
paper, pen and
yeah,
paper.
on paper. I tend to
Yeah.
prefer doing it on paper mostly because I try to like pace out how much screen time that I get in a day because I'm already working at the computer a lot. um,
Yeah,
yeah, and
that makes sense.
I don't have like an iPad to draw on. Because I know that there are some cartoonists who will just take their iPad and draw thumbnails on the couch, which cool, more power to them. I don't have the setup to do that sort of thing. So I just use my sketchbook and then I scan in the pages and work off of that for the most part. I haven't tried digital thumbnails a super ton. I've
Mhm.
done them a little bit with New Punk Signal, and a little bit of Roxy, because Roxy was another comic strip. With those ones, sometimes it just helps to have a thumbnail version before you jump straight into the penciling stage, just to be like, okay, this is how this panel is kind of gonna look, and now this I'm just gonna draw the stick figure version just to get the idea down. And oh gosh, this figure is too big. What if I just shrink it down so that the text can then fit, kind of thing, and just play around with it that way.
So like I wanted to do some guy eating ramen, but I'm like well, you notice I've already like erased a couple of times because like I get it. I'm like, I don't know. Like
Yeah.
I think one of the things about thumbnails and one of the things I try to do is
Hmm.
like get a good silhouette.
Yeah.
And so like I drew this guy in the front, but you're like, I don't know, like the bowl's not sticking out or anything.
Mhm.
So goodbye. I'm getting rid of him.
Yeah, not super great. Let's see if we can draw that
All
again
right.
and
It's
make it.
like it's straightforward, right?
Mhm.
So
Let's see if we can
maybe
improve the silhouette and make it a little bit more noticeable that,
we
oh,
can
this guy
zoom
is
in a
eating
little bit
noodles.
better. Yeah, yeah. I want to see him
Mhm.
slurping those noodles. Okay, let's see.
Heck yeah.
Um, I used to work at a ramen restaurant, by the way. There was many noodles slurped.
Oh, I'm
Okay, this
sure.
looks so ridiculous.
Hey, it's the thumbnails. It doesn't have to be perfect,
but
but it can be funny.
but actually it's supposed to be funny, so here we go.
There we go. Yeah, I did make the request that it be a gag comic, so this works.
Let's get the chopsticks.
Mhm.
um but this way you can kind of see the noodles.
Mhm.
He's okay, this is gonna be okay. Actually, yeah, I like this one. Let's get the bowl in there.
Yeah, that silhouette looks a little more like, oh yeah, this is a dude slurping noodles.
um and then I don't know what the gag is gonna be yet. um
Hmm.
there's something in there.
It could be that there's something in the soup. Um, something unexpected in the soup.
It's a
Or
frog.
it could be a frog. It could be a fork. It could be a hot dog. Uh, it would be funny if there was a hot dog in the
A
ramen
hot
noodles.
dog. Okay. I mean, I would eat a ramen with hot dog in it, maybe.
I mean, I would too. That's like one step away from mac and cheese with hot dogs in
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
it.
And then the other thing you could do is say, "Oh, I want it to be." Oh, I didn't know I had a.
Ooh.
When did I pick that fuzzy brush? That was not me.
Surprise! It was in your system the whole time.
No, I don't like the fuzzy brush.
Yeah, but
Okay,
oh,
it's
you're
gonna do the fuzzy brush. That's fine. I just like wanted to go
mhm.
like, hey,
Indicating the silhouette.
indicating the silhouette, or like you want to make it darker here and then maybe like a little bit
Oh yeah, like
foreground, middle background.
yeah, yeah,
Whatever.
kind of that
That looks
value
kind
gradient.
of yeah.
Yeah, very handy if you want to do some like
Ooh.
cinematic effects.
Yeah, make it fancy.
Yeah, exactly.
And it looks oh, but you know what? We don't care. That's the whole
Yeah,
point.
it's thumbnails. They can be as messy as we want them to be.
um oh, the hardness. That's why. I was like, why is this
When you're working collaboratively, because I know that you worked on one book with another person. The name of the book escapes me at the moment, which is silly because I have it on the shelf in the other room.
oh,
Um,
In Love and Body?
that
That's the
that was
one?
it. Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
that was a book that you collaborated with somebody on.
Yep.
Did you
That was
also do thumbnails for that one, or what was your process in that collaboration?
I can see if I have those and look into the files and see what I've got. Um I was working with my friend Neil on those, and they were very I don't know. Like I had an issue with my Photoshop at some point, so I was working in Procreate on some of those.
Mm,
And so they were um all a little random, but um I did do some thumbnail. Let me I'm sorry, it's been like several years. Let me take a look.
sure. While we look at this man with googly eyes stare at his noodles.
There's gonna be oh yeah, I was thinking there was gonna be like a little frog on the noodles like that.
Perfect.
Just hanging on.
Hmm.
All right. That's the gag.
The most efficient
It's a
2-panel
two-part
gag.
But maybe you'll see like the frog in the next one or something. Art. I would also say a good tip is to make a good system in your computer.
Yes. A
For
way to
finding
organize
things.
things.
Yeah. Those are all
Yeah,
my
just to
things.
have a home for all the thumbnails, a home for all of the works in
Yes,
progress, and a home for the finished iterations.
absolutely.
Yeah. That's like the easiest the easiest setup that I can think of off the top of my head. Which is how I have a lot of my comics organized. Because it's like there's the top folder is the project itself, and then within that folder is one folder for the scripts or the thumbnails, another folder for the work in progress files, and another folder for all the finished pages.
This is one of my older pages.
Mm-hmm.
So I was gonna just type it all out. But then I did one with my handwriting and they said, "Hey, that's great. You need to do it all with your handwriting."
Oh.
And I was like, "Okay, it's gonna take me another year to do this."
Oh, geez.
But but I,
Oh.
I hand wrote all of it.
Wow.
Nothing's on that panel. Let's see. Oh, there's my thumbnail.
Perfect.
So I don't have like Photoshop documents for most of these. They're all like in my cloud somewhere, but there's
Mm-hmm.
one. And then I just have like a space where I was gonna put the text.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I did this on an iPad. You know how you can like draw stuff in the notes.
Yep.
Yep, yep,
Yep.
it worked.
Hey, if it works, don't knock it.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
But thanks for asking.
Sure.
And did you read it?
I read the first story or two. I still need to
Mm-hmm.
finish it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm liking what I'm reading so far.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. Really liking it. I need to finish it, but I'm also like partway through a lot of other books.
Yeah, I think you know what's nice about it is like you can kind of stop whenever the story's done and pick it back up
Mm-hmm.
later. So
Yeah, that's
yeah,
why I like short story compilations like
yeah.
In Love and Body, and oh, there was another one that was a gay romance anthology comic.
Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh, the name for that one is escaping me too, but yeah, I have a another anthology comic that is just a collection of short stories, and that's also like really easy to like pick up, read a short story, put it down when I need to. I just need to sit down and actually finish the books. Picking them up and reading them is a different hobby from setting them down.
And then these noodles have got to be like curly. I made them too straight. And
I was
then
about to say it's ramen. Ramen like
ramen
when
needs to be a little
cooked.
gay.
Yeah. make them a little more gay. Yes. Not straight. Yeah, I was about to say like ramen noodles look a lot like unspooling a knitting or crochet project, and you have that like pile of yarn, and that pile of yarn has all kinds of like kinks in it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever experienced the satisfaction of unspooling a knitting or crochet project, but the end result is a pile of yarn that looks like ramen noodles without the broth.
No, it has been a long time since I've knitted. Do you
Yeah,
do a lot
that's
of knitting?
oh, I do. I'm actually hoping to well, I do both knitting and crochet, like a good bisexual. Um, I'm actually hoping to get a video up this Friday about one of my crochet projects that I finished over the holidays.
Now my My job as a ramen chef has come in handy
Mm-hmm.
with
You know all
knowing
the ingredients that
knowing
go
what
into.
some pork belly. Ooh.
Yes. And
And the-
with all those shapes, it makes it easy for stuff to stand out.
and then I'm doing a little bit of a
Mm-hmm.
thicker line there. Yeah. Oh yeah, I should make it kind of. No, I don't know. Steamy. I don't know how to.
Steamy.
But doesn't he look? This frog looks very friendly.
He does look friendly. Yeah.
What was he doing there? We're not sure.
Yeah, he's just hanging out, steaming in the noodles, chilling
I
with
don't
the
know
other
how to
dudes.
end this one.
uh,
They kiss.
I mean, first punchline that comes to mind is the guy with the slurping the noodles pauses and goes, "This isn't a French restaurant." But
Maybe.
or maybe the frog says something, add another layer of absurd on top of that.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's like one of these days I kind of want to draw a comic based on this dream that my older sister kept having on repeat, which is it was a series of dreams, but they would all end the same way, which is that partway through she would think to herself, wait a second, I'm dreaming. And then a clown would come out of nowhere in the scenario, approach and go, congratulations, you are correct, and hand her a balloon.
Oh, that's lucid.
And then she would be like, what? And then wake up.
Oh.
Yep. And then it wasn't until I was like in my 20s that I realized that is actually a gag in the original Little Nemo newspaper comics.
Oh.
Yeah. Fun fact, back in the 20s there was a comic strip called Little Nemo, and this was back in the day when newspapers were like honking huge, like even taller than what they are nowadays. And Little Nemo was a full page comic, like took up the entirety of one page of a newspaper. It was like that detailed. And it was just a little boy having dreams and going to Slumberland and all the absurd adventures that come with that. And the end resolution of each comic was that he would wake up at the end of it.
Yeah.
And there was a series of dreams where there was this clown character, Flip, who, by the way, you don't necessarily need to look him up because, you know, it's a comic from the 20s. It's about as racially sensitive as you think it is.
Yes.
Yeah, unfortunately. But
Yeah.
there would be this clown, Flip, that would pop up when Nemo would be on his adventure. Perfect. I love that. I love that gag. Bonjour. I love it.
And there you go.
And there we go. But yeah, Flip would have a hat or a balloon, but it was usually a hat, and the hat would say, "Wake up." And then Nemo would wake up. But this is great. I love this gag. Little frog in the soup, and then he's just like, "Bonjour."
More noodles. Yeah, there you have it.
And that's just the thumbnails. That's not even like polished, finished work, but like it looks great.
Thanks. And then it would be pretty easy to ink over it and, you know, add some colors if you wanted to add some colors. And maybe I'll save that as frog comic.
Heck yeah. Oh yeah, you could definitely make this pop with the right color use. And with the right color use, you could imply the like steamy effects too.
Oh yeah, I couldn't figure out the steam with the thumbnail, but I thought about it. I drew little wiggles to remind myself.
Yeah, I've definitely had that with some thumbnails where I'm like, I only like jot down a couple of lines, but like my brain knows, oh, that is shadow. This is going to be like atmospheric, like doom doom.
Oh,
and
do you
closing in.
ever like leave yourself notes in the thumbnails? I do that sometimes.
Oh yes. I am very guilty of that. There are some pages where actually in some like later pages of like chapter 11 and 12 of Jamie Roberts, there are some pages where I have a note that's like flip this panel, or or it'll be like change the line break.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I just have to get this down. The important thing is to get it down on paper, and
Oh yeah.
we'll polish it up later.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh.
So, did you have any questions about the thumbnailing process while we're here?
Me or everybody?
You and everybody.
Let's open it up.
Yeah, let's open it up. For if anybody is lurking while we were chatting, now is a good time for the Q&A portion. Wow, why was that so hard to say? This is the Q&A portion. If you have questions for us, hit them up in the chat, or if you're catching this on the replay, you can just leave a comment down in the comment section and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. I will say there was one set of thumbnails. I don't even remember where I saw these, but it was in this like this behind the scenes book talking about different comics from around the world, I think. Okay. And it brought up comics from France and Italy, because both of those have like very vibrant comic scenes.
Oh yeah.
And on those pages there was actually a sample. Somebody posted the thumbnails that a French artist like painted, like watercolor paints. He was working with watercolor paints with the thumbnails, and I'm like, wait, what?
No.
It's like, what?
I mean, like I said, it's like whatever you're most comfortable with. For me, I would be stressing.
Yeah. Like I don't know, man, because like working with watercolors, I could see that being like a great gesture exercise, but I'm not sure that I could do like comics thumbnails with watercolors. That's bold.
Yeah, I like digital because I can just oh, I don't like it, erase it or move it, or you know,
Yeah.
it's a little more forgiving.
Yeah. That's why I also do mine with pencils, because if I sketch something and I'm like, nah, I could just erase it and draw it over again. Yeah, that's I prefer doing it with pencil, but there's also just something really nice about the mechanical pencils that I work with. There's just something that I don't know why, but
Oh,
brain
you like the
is like,
mechanical ones?
yeah, I have one. I'm just going to show off this one that I have because it's lovely, and I got this years ago. It's so old that the like clicker part kind of broke off, and I had to attach it again with washi tape. But this thing is the Tombow Monograph mechanical pencil, and the nice thing about it is that it has a locking and unlocking feature. I just unlocked it. And what you can do is you shake it and it refills the lead.
No, that's really cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. And there we go. I just made it longer.
What?
Yeah.
I've never seen one like that.
Yeah, this is like the only mechanical pencil that I know of that does this.
I got the classic Bic.
Yep. Draftsman's mechanical pencils are something else, man. There's another one that I have that I sometimes use when thumbnailing comics. Yeah, the handle broke off of this one long ago. This one is a Zebra Delgard system. And what makes this one different is that it is much harder to break the lead when you're working with it. So like,
that's what I hate about the mechanical pencils.
Yeah.
I'm heavy-handed sometimes, and it's...
Yeah, like this one, the lead does break a little too often for my liking. So I'm thinking about switching this one out to this Delgard one because the lead breaks a lot less with this. I can't tell you how, but
I was trying to find the pencils that I like are actually those blue pencils that have the different um
Ooh, I think I
H and B and all.
yeah.
Because like I can start with a lighter one and then
Mm-hmm.
go into heavier and heavier because
Mm-hmm.
I when I started out drawing, I had a problem with the heavy-handedness, and so those
Mm-hmm.
really helped me draw a little bit lighter.
Heck
So,
yeah.
I like those a
Um,
lot.
yeah. There was one hot minute. I think it might have been like 1 or 2 pages of Thoughtful Dinosaur when I did the thumbnails in pen. And
Mm.
it was to break myself out of a creative rut because I was like feeling a little stuck. And then I went, how about I just do this in pen? And then I did it in pen. And then I went, I'm not doing that ever again. And I went right back to pencil. Because, like, pen, like, it really depends on the pen that you use. I think I was just doing straight ballpoint pen, but like,
Mm.
ooh, like, there's no erasing. There's no, like, you really got to know what lines are what whenever you lay them down, which is like
Yeah.
entirely too final for me when it comes to thumbnails. Thumbnails are there to be loosey goosey and messy in my brain. Like
Yeah.
they're not meant to be like the final lines that you put down on a piece of paper.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
And then pencil you can do a little filling in. The pen can't really do that. You can
Yeah.
cross hatch a little bit, but I don't know.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So,
Pens can do that. They can sometimes do stippling if you have the
mhm.
patience for that.
Ooh,
Um
not for a thumbnail.
but for a thumbnail, nah, no. Don't make me do it. Please don't make me do it. Yeah. While I'm thinking about it, this just came to me because of Akira Toriyama. May he rest in peace. Um, there was, yeah, there was somebody who shared actually some of his thumbnails, and you could probably look it up by Google search now. But somebody actually showed like his thumbnail of a page of Dragon Ball versus the final version, and it's really not that far off. Like really, like the only major
Jerk.
difference is what is in pencil and the other is in ink. And I'm like, you mad lad.
He's just that good.
He's just that good. Well, in fairness, he did get his start working on like marketing posters, and also Dragon Ball was not his first manga.
Yeah, was it Dr. Slump or something like that?
It was Dr. Slump. Yes. Yeah, Dr. Slump was his first manga that he ever did, and he really honed his craft on that one before he got into Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was just so fascinating to see like the sketched version versus the final draft, because like the page that I'm thinking about was the one where I think he meets Chi-Chi and they ride off on flying Nimbus,
Mhm.
and there's that like kind of panel break where like the flying Nimbus actually helps form a little bit of the panel edge, which is like, Toriyama, you mad lad.
Wild.
But there was another page of Dragon Ball where he was where Goku was fighting Yamcha in the desert, and there's this like panel where one combatant punches one dude, he hits the top portion of the panel
No.
and then bounces back down, and I'm like, okay, that's just clever.
Oh,
Yeah, and
that's really good.
I'm sure that he had fun sketching the idea for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thumbnails are where you can really like go off the wall with like gag ideas like that. Also
I should
thinking about Garfield, actually.
really.
Yeah, because Jim Davis shared a little bit of his process way back when, like over 20 years ago, and he shared how he gets his ideas for Garfield comics. And step one was just doodling stupid little ideas on a piece of paper. And there was one that was like, I just drew Garfield with his tongue in a mousetrap. I didn't even have like a build up for this. It was just something that I doodled in my sketchbook. And I'm like, this could work as a comic strip.
Why
I
it's
don't know
good to
how.
have little I've been carrying around this little tiny sketchbook, and
Yes.
it does it. Yeah, you just like doodle something, and then you never know,
Hmm.
it like becomes a painting or
Oh,
yeah.
actually, while I'm thinking about it, I'll go ahead and share because I'll be honest, I almost forgot about these, but this is a worthy share. My thumbnails for a robot comic that I did are actually wildly different from some of the methods that we've talked about.
Okay.
Let me bring that up real fast, actually. So here we go. Oh, I need to do a screen share. That would help.
I'm ready.
Yeah. Yep, that's the window that I want. Here we are. So, yeah, this is the first 5 pages of the robot comic that I did. I didn't even write like script, but I drew out a rough idea of where the balloons would sit because I had the written script. Like I had a script written up and everything. Then I did thumbnails and then I did the final pages. Um, the one tricky bit was that I really should have followed the advice that we put at the top of the episode, which was know your dimensions. Because these pages and the thumbnail versions turned out a little too short. So I had to elongate them a little bit in the
Okay.
final iteration. But that's a little easier to work with than accidentally making them too tall and trying to figure out how to condense everything.
Mhm.
I would rather have it too short than too tall. Yeah, but yeah, this was a very different method from the other thumbnails that I did previously.
So
But it
this was a
worked.
5-pager?
This was actually a 12 pager. This is the first 5 pages.
Okay.
Yeah, this was just one page of the sketchbook, and then the second page looked like this.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah.
And you remembered where everything went?
Yep. Well,
Okay.
I had the written script in a
Oh,
separate.
okay. Yeah, that helps.
Yeah, I had the written script in a separate window, and that helped a lot. These thumbnails were more to like get the layouts. Also, I appreciate that past me drew the little chickens and added the little bok box. Oh, here comes my
Those are
roommate. I want to
lovely.
see the chickens. Chickens. Bok bok. I mean, they're thumbnail versions, so they're like really vague shapes, but they're there. Yep. The chickens feature pretty prominently in this comic.
I do like that one, the middle
Mhm.
one at the top. I really like that layout.
The one
I
on the left, the middle, or the right?
the middle one. I don't know
Yeah.
why I like a good like vertical thing going on with the panels. Yeah,
They're
I
fun
like
to
that one a lot.
do. Yeah. It's fun to have like one like panel that takes up the entirety from like top to bottom and then try to squish everything onto the like other side of the page.
And I feel like this is super readable. Like, is that like a hand in the middle of the page, and then
Let's
um,
see.
I was
What was
still looking at the same page.
it? Fair.
It's
Yeah.
got They've got like a potion bottle of some sort. I don't know.
Yep. It's a little potion bottle. Yeah,
Oh
cuz
yes.
yeah, this is a little healer robot.
See, it's like it's readable, but it's like it's very brief.
Mhm.
It's good. I
Yeah.
really like it.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I really like how these turned out. And having the little like there are little nature breaks to indicate like the passage of time because the entirety of this comic took place over like 200 years cuz robot. Um
Damn.
so so I had the time breaks be like, oh, here's fall leaves, and then we're moving into a fall scene, and there's a time gap, a time jump.
Ah.
And then the next one was here's a winter tree branch, and
Oh
now we're in
yeah.
winter, and that's another time jump kind of thing. So that was also like I had to figure out how to map that out. This short story was a challenge to do, so I'm really glad that I did the thumbnails.
Yeah, you said let's put 200 years into 12 pages. That's wild.
Yep.
I love it though.
Challenge
And then
accepted.
showing it with the environments is great.
Mhm. Yeah. With the environments and a little detail that I didn't get into thumbnail version, but I got it into the final iteration, which is as the years progress, the robot gets increasingly more smudges and rust spots and mud spots, like all over.
Mhm.
The other thing that she does is because there are chickens, she'll take the chicken feathers and just kind of like pop them around her ears, almost like a little like
Aw.
yeah. And there's just at the very end, there's just a full crust of feathers on both ears. But like at the start of the story, she doesn't have any feathers at all. So yeah, just being able to illustrate that also in thumbnail form was also a lot of fun to do.
Where is this comic?
Oh, it's not out yet. We're
Oh.
hoping that yeah, you're getting a sneak peek, yo.
Ooh.
We're hoping to get this in print either this year or next. We're fingers crossed, hoping for this year.
Okay.
Yeah, so keep an eye out for that. Ben will have more. Ben Wright Human, one of the other exec members of C3, will have more details about that because it's a project that he and I worked on together. But yeah, that was a lot of fun to do. That particular short comic. Yeah, and with that, I think we've hit a lot of the major talking points with thumbnails, what they are, how you work with them, and all of that jazz. So, if people wanted to find you, Mel, online, where can people find you and your stuff?
Um, you can find me at melseely.com. That has most of my work on there. I've got Red all over on Webtoon. My Instagram is mel.seely. My TikTok is just Mel Seely. Mel Seely.
I'm gonna have to
Um,
follow you on TikTok because I haven't done that yet.
I need to get back on there. It's hard to make videos sometimes. It takes a lot of work.
I get that.
um,
Yeah,
but
I still
yeah,
haven't posted mine for today. Oops.
I, I've got all my crazy stuff on TikTok,
Hmm.
and I think that's it.
Cool.
So
Um, yeah, as for C3, I'll plug C3 first before I get into my stuff. But the Columbus Cartoon Coalition is headquartered out of Columbus, Ohio. We have a Discord and an Instagram and a newsletter. Links for all those should be down in the description below. But let me find a little banner for our Instagram. Here it is. We are on Instagram at c3.ohio. Give us a follow because we're making all kinds of announcements and stuff for group projects and get togethers. We're doing a lot more in person get togethers, and those will be announced on Instagram at c3.ohio. And we have this YouTube channel. So, heck yeah. And be sure to give us a follow. If you like this video, give it a like. If you have any questions about the thumbnailing process, or if there's a particular artist that you're like, hey, this artist posts their thumbnails online, be sure to check it out. You can leave that in the comments down below. And as for me, you can find me here on YouTube at Kelci D Comics and everywhere else online at kelcdcrawford.com. And you can read my webcomic, The Legend of Jamie Roberts, at thelegendofjamieroberts.com. That's all I've got. Is that all you got?
yep.
All righty. With that, for all of you comics creators out there, get your thumbnailing going on. Can't wait to see the results. Thank you so much for tuning in. You are awesome.
Bye.